welcome back to the Woodies 2019. That's not the music I wanted. Sorry about that. Like I said, welcome back to the Woodies 2019. If you haven't seen the first installment of this epic saga, then I encourage you to check that one out first. It might elucidate what's going on here a little bit better. All of you will be very glad to hear that this time I have some help. I'd like to introduce you all to my good friend, Woodaba. Say hello, buddy! Ha! They're really great once you get to know them. Woodaba and I have been working non-stop to bring you the second exciting installment of the Woodies and looking for those missing awards that cut the last episode a little short. And I'm sure you'll all be over the moon to hear that we found a grand total of 1 award. But that's okay, that's enough for an award show, and we've got such a great show anyway. We've got trailers, we've got reveals, and we've got trailers and world premieres and even more trailers. I mean, that's what's really important when it comes to an award show, right? That's the stuff that people come to these for. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy some trailers for the most exciting games coming out in 2020. Ha! Wow, what an amazing collection of trailers. That one at the end especially just blew my mind. I can't believe we're finally getting Demolition Girl 2 after all this time. Isn't that incredible, Woodaba? Ha! Classic. What? Oh, right, the award. Singular. Hold on. One second. There it is. It was, there, in the crowd. Anyway, the award for objectively best game that came out this year is... How do you end a story? That's a question we seem to be struggling with in 2019. The 9th and absolutely final Star Wars movie until the next one is currently busy destroying all the goodwill anyone might have had about Star Wars in a vain attempt to appease its most vocal fans. Earlier in the year, Game of Thrones crashed and burned spectacularly in an ending that served as the apotheosis of all fans' frustrations with the programme. Both of these things struggle to find coherent answers to the difficult question of how to end a long-running series that has so much passion and heart put into it, both in terms of the creators and the fans. How do you end a story that has already ended twice already? How do you end a series that has gone on so long as to have morphed into something unrecognisable from how it began? How do you end Kingdom Hearts?
I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real? Or not?
Kingdom Hearts wasn't the first game I ever played, but it was the first one that made me stand up and go, ooh, video games are a thing, huh? The wonderfully surreal tutorial hooked me into this magical world, and the legitimately arresting imagery and emotionally complicated story made Kingdom Hearts 1 unquestionably my favourite game when I was a kid. And in many ways, it still kind of is. I was, generously, about 7 or 8 years old when this game first captured my heart. Now I'm older, but it still means an awful lot to me. I don't think it's a childhood nostalgia thing, not entirely anyway. There are things I liked when I was 8 that I hold no particular affection for anymore, certainly, but Kingdom Hearts still manages to keep its hooks into me. When I look at this game, I don't see an utterly nonsensical, ridiculously embarrassing Disney/Final Fantasy fanfic. I see something special. I see Sora, Donald, and Goofy not as these weird caricature cartoon characters, but as the heroes this series believes they are. I see these stories not as cheesy, nonsensical drug trips, but as the earnest struggles the game really wants them to be. I cry when it wants me to cry, and cheer when it wants me to cheer. I know in the back of my head that this is all fucking nonsense, but I don't think I'll ever be able to not earnestly, honestly care about these worlds and these people. But I also thought Kingdom Hearts would be over before now. Kingdom Hearts 2 was, by my measure at least, a fantastic closure to the series that wrapped up basically any conceivable loose end. In the time that's passed between the last main entry and this new one, the total number of Kingdom Hearts games has more than doubled, with these new entries weaving a mostly new saga about an evil Leonard Nimoy/Rutger Hauer and his machinations throughout history. These games weren't bad. I have a particular love for the domestic tragedy of 358 Over 2 Days, and the inspiringly insane Dream Drop Distance, but these weren't games Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2 even remotely suggested, and they morphed Kingdom Hearts from a relatively straightforward narrative into something that was legendary for its overcomplicated story. Kingdom Hearts 3, by virtue of having that number attached to it, had the nearly impossible task set before it of being a narrative sequel to all these new games while being a sequel in spirit to Kingdom Hearts 2, fan favourite and a game that many players, myself included, grew up adoring. While, for many, the resulting game was divisive. For me, Kingdom Hearts 3 stuck the landing better than I could have ever imagined, and it's a game that deserves to stand alongside its other numbered brethren as some of the best games around. So how did Kingdom Hearts 3 manage this near impossible feat? By becoming something no Kingdom Hearts game has ever really been before. Self-aware. Not in the kind of shitty way we usually conceptualize self-awareness in games like this, where they spend half their time pointing at themselves and laughing, but by coming to an honest conception of its space both in the series and the wider gaming landscape. It's a game that is well aware that many of its fans have been playing this series for as long as they can remember, well aware of the virulent, tangled strains of its plot, and well aware of both what the series once was and what it has become. With this knowledge, the game uses its continuity in creative and clever ways to drive home its central theme, healing. In terms of the actual plot, most of what Sora does in the final hours of the game is heal people. He heals Aqua trapped in the realm of darkness, brings back Ventus and other minor characters who were wronged or unjustly suffered, cures the various organization members of the Xehanort contagion, and just goes about setting right wrongs committed long ago. Xehanort's evil plot is a thing that must be stopped, yes, but Kingdom Hearts 3 is less interested in that as it is in setting right what has already gone wrong, about mending what its villain has already broken. There's a motif running through all the final hours of things going wrong and then going back to fix them, and it leaves the game with a more interesting take on the big continuity cavalcade finale that stories like this usually promise. Kingdom Hearts 3 does not see its past as a build up to this moment, or even something that needs to be prevented from ever happening, but as a series of tragedies that people must recover from. Xehanort himself is portrayed less as a villain and more as a disease, a wrong inflicted on himself and others. In the previous game in the series, it was revealed that the reason he turned evil in the first place was because his future self made him do it, casting himself into this twisted Ouroboros of self-harm and self-sabotage, and now Xehanort expands that illness further, beyond himself and into others. Xehanort is less the charismatic villain with a complex motivation like in other JRPGs, and more like a sick, cruel man who has hurt himself and others, and whose deeds must be corrected. It's fitting that almost every Xehanort comes away from their encounter with Sora feeling whole again. Sora, as this bouncing ball of positivity and forgiveness, is the ultimate cure to Xehanort's infectious cruelty. While Game of Thrones and Star Wars and Avengers Endgame pitch their final installments as these epic clashes with a final ultimate villain, Kingdom Hearts 3 conceives of itself as therapy first and battle second. And that's a far more thoughtful approach than I think anyone would have expected from the funny Mickey Mouse Final Fantasy game. It's such a wonderfully warm thematic end to a series that has always counted its earnestness as among its most lovable traits. And then there's the secret ending, the real most perfect way Kingdom Hearts should end. One last jolt of completely inexplicable nonsense that nevertheless manages to send a powerful thematic intent. You see all the characters get an unambiguous, actual happy ending, and then see Sora die, only to wake up in the real world. To me, what this is saying is very clear. Kingdom Hearts will go on, with or without you, but that these people you love will be fine even if you go. Sora started the game in a dream, and now, over a decade and a half later, he's finally woken up, and you have as well. Kingdom Hearts 3 was such a great time that it nearly made me forget that Disney is a capitalist nightmare factory, stamping its boot on the face of culture forever, and if that isn't an absolute ringing endorsement, I don't know what is.
If you ever do anything like that to me again, I'll... Oh. Congratulations to the entire Kingdom Hearts 3 team for winning the only objectively best game, Woody, of the year. If you think any other game got this award, you're wrong. I'm telling you, it's the only one that exists, the only one that matters. No other game has won this award. And if you think they have, you're wrong. This is the only Game of the Year award. Otherwise, objective awards have no meaning, and it's just a subjective preference that may or not be shared by others dressed up in objective language. If this isn't the only Game of the Year award, then the Game of the Year has no meaning. I'm right, aren't I, Woodaba?
I hear a song.
Woodaba? Woodaba? Buddy?
Veremos. Veremos. Veremos.